Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm going to be doing the try a chapter tag. I've just been not sure what I wanted to pick up, and so I have picked up, well, I kind of know what genre I want. I'm really into a bit of contemporary at the moment, and I fancy just whiling away the day and reading a contemporary, but I can't pick which one, so I've picked 5 off my shelf. I'm going to tell you quickly what they are now, and then I'm going to go away and read a chapter, and after each time I've read a chapter for each of these, I will come back and let you know my thoughts, and hopefully by the end of this I will have picked one that I want to carry on with for the rest of the day. The first one was quite an obvious choice. I've just finished a book by this author and I really enjoy her writing, so I know going into it that I think the writing style is going to be really good, but do I want to move straight on to another one of her books straight away? I don't know. This one is Are We All Lemmings and Snowflakes by Holly Bourne. This one says that it's at Camp Reset, a summer camp with a difference, a place offering a shot at normality for Olive, a girl on the edge, and her new friends who are all dealing with their own battles. But as Olive settles in, she starts to wonder maybe it's this messed up world that needs fixing and not them, and so she comes up with a plan, because together snowflakes can form avalanches. I really like Holly Bourne's style of writing. It's very engaging. I like a lot of her feminist themes that she includes in there. Her books are normally, I think, or always set in the UK, which I really enjoy, and so this is the first one that I'm going to be reading a chapter of. The second book that I'm going to be reading a chapter of is called The Summer of Us by Cecilia Viness. This one has another similar theme of this sort of going somewhere. This one's more of a road trip. It's about best friends Aubrey and Ray, who've been planning a European tour since the moment they met. It was meant to be this sort of perfect way for them to spend the summer before university, but now it's not just the two of them. There's Jonah, Aubrey's seemingly perfect boyfriend, and Gabe, who Aubrey may have accidentally kissed. There's Clara, the friend Ray is crushing on hard, even though there's no hope because Clara's into guys, not girls. And on top of all that, Aubrey and Ray's friendship appears to be falling apart. Things are a lot more complicated at 18 than they were at 10. So I just think this sounds like a really good sort of road trip story with lots of angst and hijinks, so I'll see what I think of that one. The next one has a little bit more of a darker edge to it, and that is That's Not What Happened by Cody Keplinger. This book is set 3 years after a high school shooting where our main protagonist's best friend was killed in the bathrooms, but the story about how this all came about, our main protagonist knows is not true, and I think this is where she's going to set the story straight, I believe. So I don't know, I'm looking forward to reading that one. Maybe I'll be in the mood for a bit more of a darker story, we'll see. The next one is from Twinkle with Love, and I was very kindly gifted this last year and I feel like it's about time to read it. This is about aspiring filmmaker and wallflower Twinkle. She's approached by another sort of film nerd called Sahil to take part in directing something for, I believe, a summer festival, and she jumps at the chance, and she also hopes that she's going to get the chance to get closer to Sahil's brother, who she has a bit of a crush on. So I'm sure this is going to be a sort of contemporary romance, and I love the fact that Sandhya Menon, who wrote When Dimple Met Rishi, has this really nice way of including the hobbies of the people, or the passions of the female main characters. In When Dimple Met Rishi, we had this sort of computer techie sort of vibe, and with this one we've got this more film vibe, so I'm really looking forward to trying this one. And then the final one that I'm going to read a chapter of is called My Fair Lady by Laura Western. I just think this looks hilarious. It's got an old sort of library jacket on it, so I don't know if you can see it. It's got a girl in sort of an outfit there. It's about Rowena Duncan, who is a thoroughly modern girl with big plans for her summer until she catches her boyfriend making out with another girl. So she applies heartbroken to this out-of-town job at a Renaissance fair, and it says, as a face painter doubling as a serving wench, Roe is thrown headfirst into the vibrant community of artists and performers. She feels like a fish out of water until Will, a quick-witted whip cracker, takes her under his wing. Then there's Christian, a blue-eyed, stunning jouster who makes Ro weak at the knees, and soon it's not just her gown that's tripping her up. Trading in the internet and electricity for stars and campfires was supposed to make life simpler, but Ro is finding that love is the ultimate complication. Can she let the past make way for her future? I just think that's going to be a full, fast, fun romp. So I'm going to go away and read the first chapter of each of these, and in between I will come back and let you know my thoughts. Okay, so I've ended up reading the first 2 chapters of this because the first chapter was like a page long, and oh wow, talk about a hard-hitting main like first few pages. Olive there's something going on with Olive, and we don't really know yet, but she is definitely feeling suicidal, and that is how it starts. And Holly Bourne just writes, oh, I felt that tension inside, I felt that, oh, and it really did hit home. I felt quite emotional already just after a few pages. This is definitely a contender, and the descriptions in here were just of this sort of weight, and just the noise being too much, and just not being able to get away, and really hit home. So this is definitely in the running. Okay, so I've just read the first chapter of The Summer of Us. I think this is going to be a dual perspective book. It seems to be that our 2 main characters, Aubrey and Ray, are going to be told from multiple points of view. So I read the first chapter, which comes from Aubrey's point of view, and the 2 are about to head off on a European tour. I think this is going to be a really good read. I don't think it's the one that I want to read right away now. I think the other one definitely called to me a bit more, so I'm going to put this one down, and at the moment the Holly Bourne book is still top of my list. Yeah, I liked this one. I just think it's going to be more about a friendship and someone that's nervous about doing something, and more of these sort of characters. It's going to be a bit more light, and it's just not what I'm feeling right now, so I'm going to put this one down, and I'll come back to you when I've tried the next one. So I've just finished the first chapter of That's Not What Happened by Cody Keplinger. It was about 14 pages long, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm intrigued about what's going to happen. From what we can gather so far, there's been a school shooting 3 years previous, or sort of 2 years previous, in a bathroom stall at the school, and there was 6 people present, and one of the girls died. And so now the survivors meet up every year, and sort of have become closer. They talk to each other via text and just check in with each other. And there's obviously some things that happened that were misreported or changed, or yeah, I'm intrigued to find out more about this one. I am undecided now between this one and the Holly Bourne. I think I'm still leaning towards the Holly Bourne, but I'm not 100% sure, so I will make a decision once I have read the final 2. So I'll be back with you in a minute when I've read a chapter of the next one. I've just finished the first chapter of From Twinkle with Love, and this is going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really nice contemporary story, but it's just not what I'm fancying right now. So in the first chapter here, there's definitely some sort of divide between rich and less affluent people wherever Twinkle lives. And for some reason her best friend is not hanging out with her so much. Whether that's because she's now got money, I'm not sure, but that seems to be the implication. So Twinkle's feeling a little bit lonely, and we've been introduced to 2 boys, 2 brothers, one of whom she has a big crush on but doesn't even know she exists, and the other obviously has a bit of a crush on her and is trying to buy her a coffee, and they're all a bit geeky and they're all sort of self-conscious around each other and banging heads, and it's all a bit quirky, and I think I'm going to enjoy it when it's time to read it, but now's not the time, so not this one. I've got one more, and then I'll be making a decision, so I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, now I'm in a bit of a quandary. I just read the first chapter of My Fair Lady, and I really loved it. I thought I wasn't really in the mood for sort of a more chilled out sort of romantic comedy. I was more in the mood for sort of the hard-hitting maybe more darker themes, but actually this one was just so lovely and so interesting, and I really liked the voice already. Our main character's gone through a breakup, and in typical teenage fashion she is on the sofa surrounded by snotty tissues watching a Jeremy Kyle-esque show about a girl who's had a breakup, and she's shouting at the screen like, "You go girl!" And her mum comes in and tells her she needs to pull it together a little bit, and that she's got to start work next week so that she can contribute towards college. And she doesn't want to work in this restaurant that she normally works in, which is in the mall, because she's worried that this boy's going to turn up, this ex-boyfriend who cheated on her with a cheerleader from a couple of years below them, which she said is sort of insult to injury. And so in a bit of a last minute panic, she decides to research if there's any other jobs available for the summer, and comes up with this one for a body art specialist, which she has no idea what it is, but she's a bit of an artist, so she thinks it can't be too hard. She realizes that the interviews are taking place that day, so she rings them and they say come along, and we're just about to go into this this fair, which she didn't realize what it was. This one is definitely also a contender. So from the 5, I've now narrowed it to 3, and I think, given how I'm feeling, I can now narrow that again to 2. I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to read, but keep watching, because whichever one I do choose, I will review now. Okay, so it's a few days later, and I ended up picking up, drum roll, My Fair Lady by Laura Wetterston, and this was just a delight. It was exactly what I wanted. It was light but thoughtful and interesting, and I really enjoyed it. We're following our main character Rowena, or Ro as she's known to her friends, and at the start of the book she's wallowing in self-pity. Her boyfriend's cheated on her and she's feeling a bit rubbish. It's the beginning of the summer holidays, and she and her friends are meant to be starting work at the restaurant that they work at normally over the summer, and going to parties and things, and all she can think about is that she doesn't want to be anywhere near her ex and this new girl that he's dating, and they're bound to be everywhere she goes. So she decides that she's going to, on a whim, go and look for a new job, and she ends up getting a job as a face painter at a Renaissance fair. It's a job where she has to live on site, so she's living in a tent and she's staying there for the whole of the summer, and it's just about her learning about herself and what she wants to do with her future, but also healing from a broken heart, meeting new friends, discovering more about herself and love and the type of person that she wants to be with. And there's obviously romantic links there, and it's just a joy to find out more about a Renaissance fair. I don't know how realistic this is, but I just really loved it. The atmosphere was really good, and I just really liked all the dynamics here. I enjoyed her family dynamic, I enjoyed the conversations that people were having, and the sort of journey that she goes on throughout this story. And I thought it ended on a really good note. It wasn't too far-fetched. It was very honest and realistic feeling, and I just thought it was a joy to read, and I really wish I could have more of Rowena and follow her a little bit more in what happens in her future. So I really enjoyed this, and I gave it a really strong 4 stars. It was just what I wanted. It was the right book to pick up at the time. However, I am going to go and pick up Holly Bourne's book now, so that will be the next read I read. So keep an eye out for that if you are hoping to find out a bit more about my thoughts on that. But this was really good fun, and that was a very successful try chapter tag. I really enjoyed doing it. I really enjoyed reading those chapters and finding the book that was the right one for me at the right time. Anyway, that's it from me, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.